Hey y'all, Eric here again with another LGBT history moment. Today, the focus is on an organization that has been around for a very long time and they do great work. And this organization actually serves LGBTQ plus youth in the southern region. Today's spotlight is on Time Out Youth. TOY as an acronym, but the name of the organization is Time Out Youth. So let me talk to you a little bit about Time Out Youth. So the founder of Time Out Youth was a woman by the name of Tonda Taylor, and here is what they say, and what she says regarding the history of Time Out Youth and talking about the originator of Time Out Youth, Tonda Taylor. As a teenager growing up in a conservative, socially prominent family in 1950s Charlotte, Tonda Taylor knew she was different. But like many of the youth we encounter today, she didn't know why or how to reconcile her conflicting emotions with society's expectations. Tonda felt like a stranger in her own hometown. In 1964, Tonda left Charlotte for the more tolerant climate of New York, where she began her journey in the field of youth services working for the American Youth Hostels and the Girl Scouts. Tonda's self imposed exile ended 20 years later with an urgent call from home. Her brother Sam was dying of leukemia. Tonda returned to Charlotte in 1984 to help her mother and her father, Dr. Andrew Taylor, a prominent Charlotte allergist, care for Sam. Then came the news through blood transfusions Sam has contracted HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. In an unthinkable tragedy, Dr. Taylor himself became infected with HIV, apparently while caring for Sam, or possibly from transfusions during an earlier open heart surgery. At age 80, Dr. Taylor took his own life to spare his family the burden of his illness. Sam died 7 months later. The pain of their deaths to what most in the community viewed as a gay, quote unquote, gay disease, and the pain she experienced growing up gay in Charlotte was galvanizing influences, were galvanizing influences in Tonda's life. Shortly after Sam's death, a friend sought Tonda's help for a teenager who was struggling with her sexual orientation. Tonda was distressed to learn that no programs or support groups existed in Charlotte for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered youth. Soon thereafter, in November of 1990, Tonda and a small group of human services professionals, educators, physicians, and clergy met and agreed that these young people desperately needed somewhere to turn for help. A few months later, they formed Time Out Youth. On April 8, 1991, four gay and lesbian youth attended their first weekly discussion group. Since 1991, Time Out Youth has served tens of thousands of area youth in their journey towards self discovery. Above all, they value the voice of the youth they serve and commit to adapting to the unique and challenging challenges they face each day. And their website contains this information under who we are. Um, you can actually see their team, both the staff of Time Out Youth and who the board of directors are, and some familiar names will be there. Their annual and financial reports, as they are a listed nonprofit organization. They recently held their annual fundraising gala that was posted on Facebook by some of the people involved with Time Out Youth. Also, the reason that TOY is needed, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that just on my own. If you've been paying attention to the news, then you know that the LGBTQ plus community is under attack, just blatantly under attack. And part of that attack is on LGBTQ plus youth, particularly trans youth, that multiple states and multiple hospital organizations under threats from the Trump administration regarding funding have backed away from providing health care services for trans youth. Atrium Health, one of the largest health companies and hospital systems in the Charlotte region, which is now part of Advocate Health in the Southeast region and in the Midwest, made an announcement that they would no longer be providing those types of services for trans youth. Unfortunately, Novant Health has not said such that I could find. But there needs to be pressure on these entities to understand that they serve the people, not a faux king or an authoritarian. That until something else changes, this is a constitutional republic form of democracy, not an authoritarian run government, nor is it a theocracy. This country will never be a Christian national, run by Christian nationalists and changed from the constitutional republic to a theocracy. And I'm saying that as a believer. I will always qualify that so that people know that someone who believes in a higher deity is telling you he is on the side to stop Christian nationalists, not Christians, but Christian nationalists from changing this country. And so until that day comes when families no longer kick their children out for being LGBTQ+, until there comes a day when there will be no more bullying of people, both and particularly youth, for being who they are, and until there comes a day when children won't be murdered for being who they are, Time Out Youth is necessary. And I'm glad to know that they are still fighting the good fight. For more information about Time Out Youth, I will have their website linked in the description. And if you know of anyone who needs their services, please connect them with Time Out Youth. Thank you for viewing, and I will see you on the next one.